dealing with Medi-Cal contracts and appeals over that. And so over the years that she was taking a salary as first an Alameda County prosecutor and then a San Francisco County prosecutor, she earned an additional over $400,000 over a 5-year period from these low show / no show jobs. He also got her a BMW as a gift. And so
Willie Brown gave Kamala Harris a BMW.
He gave her a BMW, and he got her these extra hundreds of thousands of dollars of jobs. And to give you some perspective, the salary of a prosecutor around that time was about $100,000. So she basically got double or triple what her colleagues were getting. So imagine the morale in the office when your person sitting next to you is also dating the mayor and also is making hundreds of thousands of dollars more than you because...
And getting a free BMW.
And getting a free BMW. So she was marked out as privileged in her 20s and 30s very early on. And that allowed her to leap over the career hurdles that those of us who work for a living in the private sector have to actually earn.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's... And, you know, she's had to face these criticisms over time, and she's become very glib and good at deflecting the criticism. But it's I don't think it's disputable that the extra income and, more importantly, the patronage that she enjoyed in her 20s and early 30s made her the person who's, the vice president of the United States today and seeking the top job. Not merit, but influence peddling and using her female wiles.
And just all the sleaze and corruption that inevitably arises in a one-party state like California.
Multiplied by 100 when you're dating the most, powerful person there. And even after she broke up with him, as the story goes, because she realized that he was never going to make her a wife, she continued that strong relationship. And to this day, Willie Brown has endorsed her and is, out there helping her raise money. And so she had broken up with him by the time she ran for district attorney, but he was instrumental in helping her raise hundreds of thousands of dollars and eventually winning in that position.
Willie Brown has a reputation for the last 60 years for corruption. I'm not alleging a specific crime. He was a jailhouse lawyer for years, representing radicals of various kinds. But he has a reputation for corruption. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. And even specifically in this district attorney race. So I'll break that down for you. So Terrence Hallinan was a mixed bag. He was the district attorney for, the one who Kamala Harris replaced. And so, but he was tough on corruption. Okay. So there was some corruption in the police department in San Francisco. The SFPD had a scandal called Fajita Gate, where some cops got into a beef with some street vendors over some fajitas. It's kind of a silly beginning of the story, but the end of that story is that Terrence Hallinan brought charges against the police chief, his deputy, and some other cops involved in this scandal. Okay, well, Willie Brown didn't like this. He had put all these people, basically everybody in the top jobs in San Francisco owed it in some way to Willie Brown. And so Willie Brown was able to get stuff done in the city as a lobbyist and as a fixer, and particularly for the real estate industry by controlling a lot of the elected officials and the law enforcement in San Francisco. There were corruption investigations that Terrence Hallinan was looking at regarding some of this power structure in San Francisco. And so by replacing Terrence Hallinan, Willie Brown, through his agent of Kamala Harris, was able to put an end to some of these investigations. These investigations were quietly dropped. The Fajita Gate thing quietly went away. The case collapsed. And the police who were accused of wrongdoing were never held accountable. But because of that investigation and indictments that were brought by Terrence Hallinan, that began some friction. That continued some friction. The police were also frustrated at Hallinan's failure to